loves your children, that you need to have the talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says, there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If there's someone who is black in our church, and they've been in our church, and we know them, and they love the Lord Jesus Christ, great. We're not talking about that person, right. But we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of strangers, and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts.
There are 54 countries on the continent of Africa that are black countries. There are 16 in the Caribbean that are black countries. That means out of 195 countries in the world, 70 are black countries. Yet not one of those 70 countries has a nuclear weapon. Not one has built weapons of mass destruction to threaten the world. Not one has ever invaded another land to steal, conquer, or enslave. Think about that. Our ancestors left nothing behind that the world can point to with shame. No genocide, no mass shootings, no record of crossing oceans to chain other nations. We are the children of the only race that never tried to wipe out another people. Yet look at us today. We are the most oppressed, the most exploited, the most humiliated and silenced on this earth. We are blamed for poverty caused by stolen wealth. We are told to heal from wounds that were never allowed to close. We are told to move on, to forget, to forgive. While those who enslaved us still live in the comfort built from our stolen labor. They call us violent. They call us dangerous. But we, the only race that has never unleashed war upon others, remain the most victimized on this planet. And somehow, despite centuries of chains, whips, guns, and lies, we still rise each morning. We still pray. We still smile. We still hope. We are what the United Nations has been searching for. A people of peace. Yet this world refuses to give us peace in return. And that is the saddest part of all.
Shalom, everybody. Let me do a sound check. Make sure everything is everything. Let me see here. All right. Let's get into it. Perverse. Contrary to what is right or good, wicked or depraved. Characterized by or resulting from willful opposition or resistance to what is right, expected, or reasonable. Willfully opposing or resisting what is right, expected, or reasonable. Having an effect opposite of what is intended or expected. See, these things got to be called out. Blacks are the most violent. All this stuff, it's got to be called out. Okay? It's got to be. That's why you see the military in black cities. Okay? Some of our folks actually believe these lies. We're gonna pick these lies apart. All right? Just like Trey Reed, the independent autopsy, saying the man was beat to death. See? All right. They got a whole system covering up and lying. Perverse. Perversity. Let's get to the next definition. Psychology. The science that deals with mental processes and behavior. That's why you see all this negative propaganda pumped out in the media. It started as soon as they called themselves abolishing slavery. It started then. They began to put out flyers lying on black folk. They put out a movie called Birth of a Nation. Negroes is running around mindless and out of their mind and trying to get their women, projecting. The propaganda been going on, okay? Emotional and behavioral characteristics of an individual, group, or activity. Why do these folks cover up for their lies as a whole? If you didn't have anything to do with what your so-called founding fathers did, why do you get offended? Why do you protect the lie? Why are you in agreement in covering up the truth? psychology, perverse psychology. Might as well call it lycology. But let's change gears a little bit. Let me get over here, get these out the way. All right. Let me make sure the sound is right. Make sure the sound is right.
Than whites do. They commit more murder.
Okay. Make sure the sound is right. I'm checking sound. Okay. All right. Yeah.
The blacks commit more.
One thing I noticed about this guy, he don't do like I show you the facts. And if you disagree with it, prove it wrong. He don't cite noun, reference, nothing. Just lie. If you ever ask him to state the site, to prove it, where he get that information from, well, he's gone now. But anybody like him spewing these lies, they ain't gonna be able to do it because they lying.
Crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more.
What he just said,
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings.
Part of the issue with Kirk.
All right, let's go over here right quick. Let me see here. Well, it said murder. I'll come back to it later. Let me get back over. I'll come back to it.
Is that Kirk was a 31-year-old man preying on undergraduate students who are not experts in speaking on these points. And then he would conflate, he would lie, he would come up with false statistics.
Where's the lawsuits at if somebody lying on it? Huh?
Let me show you how he would just speak fake data. Listen to this.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay, let's talk.
Now, that's what I wanted to show you. Commit most murders in America. And yes, it's not current. I saw a date, I think 2022. But it's still relevant. Whether directly or indirectly, violence is awfully glorified and perceived to be an essential part of black culture. This is their culture. How can I prove that this is white culture? They went, how did they get everything? Stealing, killing, lying, and destroying. That's their culture. They pass it down. They pass the stolen wealth down. They pass the racism down. They cover for the racism now because that's their culture. Because they own the cameras, they own the news media, they own the propaganda machine. They get their lie out there. Okay? We don't have to hide our history. Them, on the other hand, and if you're not in agreement with lying, stealing, killing, and destroying, then why are you offended? You might be a devil. We don't have to hide our history. We don't have to lie about it. The Bible said that, and the truth will make you free. Keep the lie going and you're going to stay in captivity. All right, now, the idea of black, where is the white on white crime at? Where is that in the news cycle on repeat 24/7, 364? Where is the Latino on Latino crime? The Asian on Asian crime? Where is that at? Huh? What is black crime? Think about that. Okay, what is black crime? I'll tell you what. What is white crime? Okay? Is a myth because the majority of all violent crimes in the United States happen between people of the same race. Oh, 2024. I knew it was it ain't that February 1st, 2024. All right. The term black on black crime misrepresents how crime works across all racial groups. And they say, and they count them getting arrested. They do not count exoneration. They do not count when the charges thrown out because the evidence ain't there. They run, snatch, and grab it. You got evidence right here. They just picked the LSU wide receiver. Didn't have nothing to do with the accident. They framed him. The police framed him for a death, and he killed himself. I forgot his name. Okay, Kyron Lacey. Okay, that's his name. Framed him for death. Now the truth is coming out that the police, the state trooper, just arrested him and made up a false report. I'm waiting to see where the charge is at. Where is his charges? Let me read this over here. Kyron Lacey, former LSU wide receiver who played for the team from 2022-24 and known for his impressive performance. All right. Let me get down here. April 24, 25, shortly before a grand jury hearing related to a fatal car accident. They don't do no investigation. Okay? They don't do no investigation. That a story is right there. Y'all can find that, but I'm finna get back over here to the business. There's plenty of evidence of police. Let me just do another quick Google search. Okay. Planting evidence. If somebody guilty, you don't have to plant nothing. You don't have to, if you're guilty, you don't have to plant nothing because they're guilty. You caught them with their hand in the cooking jar. And then they want to talk about we committing all these darn crimes. See, just a quick Google search. Police planting evidence. See. Well, let me get back over here. Quick Google search now. Now I know how people commit crimes. Okay, yeah. I'm not saying that we don't. But these lies got to stop. Why is the military always at us? Huh? You know why. Just because the scripture says things would be this way don't mean it didn't say we had to lay down and let it slide. The Bible said when the time of peace comes, we wouldn't have to learn war. In other words, learn war. So you'll know how the enemy is attacking you. They're attacking us with these lies, this propaganda. These are acts of war, the economic warfare, keeping us out of jobs and resources. The only time you're supposed to put down them weapons and grab them plowshares and start farming is when the peace comes, when the Messiah brings it. Until then, carry on. Crime statistics are often used in media and politics to justify racial programming and mass incarceration. Don't forget, you got a whole $1 billion prison industry on the stock market. Somebody got to go to jail. Shalom, Jersey. Somebody got to be in there. They got quotas where they have to have I've seen some 80 to 90% full for 20 years. How you gonna build a prison and predict that it's gonna stay full 80 to 90% for 20 years? You got to go out there and gaffle up somebody. Okay? All right, let me see here. Let me get back to these videos.
Talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes...
I wanted to add this in here because this was one thing that I didn't hear him specifically say in his video. The amount of people serving time in jail or who are picked up by the police does not mean that that's representative of these people committing more crimes. What is it about the roundup process that makes the people who are rounding up choose to round up more black people?
Because of racism and white supremacy. I just showed you police planting evidence. Where's the lawmakers penalizing these police for lying on police reports, planting evidence, huh? And then at the same time, you got a conflict of interest. You got prisoners on the stock market that need prisoners. You see how that works?
To prosecute them, to put them in jail. We've heard the name Brock Turner throw up a 3. Brock Turner was the guy who was sexually assaulting a woman behind a dumpster. He was caught. People saw him and beat him off of the unconscious woman. He got 6 months in prison. Why? Because the good old boy judge said that he didn't feel that the boy's whole life should be ruined for a few moments of fun. Even though that...
So the judge called a woman getting violated fun. And the white man shouldn't do that much time because it's going to ruin his life. These are perverted psychologists. Their mind is just gone. That's why I be asking y'all to pray for me, because it's hard for me to tolerate such foolishness. You know, when you get a certain age, it's hard for me to tolerate such foolishness. You know. But anyway, let me keep going.
Few moments of his fun showed the sick, depraved mind that this man had. So they are not policing these communities as heavily. I remember when I was in my 20s, I went to this party in Midtown.
There's her video. I just clicked on it. Her video 9 minutes. Let me go somewhere else. Okay.
Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders. They commit more arsons. They commit.
Now he said. Now let's look at it from a historical and worldwide view. Yeah, they off the chain. Now, Second Ezra tells about this Roman eagle. Daniel talks about this Roman eagle that's going to be making war against the saints. The saints is the Most High chosen. All right. Until the Ancient of Days come and judges. All right. Now, who's committed more crime going continent to continent? Genociding folks. That's mass genocide. Who done that? Who erased the history? When you erase the history, what you're doing is lying. Who went continent to continent stealing? Huh? That's crime. They just don't announce they crime. You see what I'm saying? That's why somebody got to call this stuff out.
Or kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay, let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population. Yes, about half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population.
I covered that. That was in the other video. Hold on. All right, let me see here. Let me go back. Let me look on StreamYard right quick. Take this off. Let me remove that. You see that Hannibal Lecter? Now notice, I want y'all in the chat to name one of their so-called Shalom MC to the X Project, Jersey Dooney, Brenda Hill, Carol Brooks, and anyone else I missed. Now I want anybody to name for me one of their heroes that did not steal, kill, or destroy. Name one. Can y'all name one? One of their founding fathers that did not commit some kind of crime. All right? Can y'all name one? You can't name George Washington and them. They slave masters. That's genocide. That's barbarism. They got statues of villains. Robert E. Lee. What's the other one? Christopher Columbus. Think about that. Think about this. They idolize wickedness. They got a perverse psychology. They on some kind of dope. You understand? It's some kind of mental institution. You got Hannibal Lecter in the mouth of Satan, the serpent. The psychologist over there. And you got somebody messing with their brain. These lies, the devil. You understand? That's right, Eliyahu. If you can name one, put it in the chat. I don't care if the video old. Name one of their so-called heroes that wasn't wicked. I'm talking about degenerate. You know, sexual assault, stealing, killing, destroying. Name one. But they want to put this label on us. It's called projection. All right, now let's get to this. I'm gonna work my way back. Let me see. Can y'all see that? Y'all can't see that. Hold on. All right. Now the National Registry, black men percentage of exoneration for murder. Okay, they're just going along with what the guy said on the TikTok video. Okay, it's showing you wrongful convictions disproportionately affect black Americans. I just showed you one evidence, a Google page full of police planting evidence. Okay, then they make up laws for criminality. You know, you just got out of slavery, and because you ain't got no job, now you're a criminal. That is literally what they done. Okay. But yeah, y'all just do a quick Google search. %50% of how is we committing over 50% of the crime, and you're not factoring in that 50% of the exonerations are black, and the police planting evidence and making false police reports. They don't factor that in because they got an agenda. Same thing. That's same thing. Let me close that out. All right. Now, do black Americans? I know we Israelites, but everybody don't know that. So I use terminology that we use. Okay. Do black Americans suffer most hate crime? Based on annual reports and data collected by the FBI. Charlie ain't gonna, well, he can't show you. These racist white supremacists ain't gonna show you what I'm showing you. I'm telling you what it is, and I'm showing you what it is. If you don't like it, prove it wrong and show your source. You can't say no, that's wrong, and don't show me nothing. I don't go for that. All right, now. That collected by the FBI, black Americans are the most frequent victims of race bias, hate crime. Then how did the Asians get a hate crime bill specifically for themselves and we didn't? That tells you this whole, like the Bible said. Then we gonna have the Most High said Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. Let me put up another Bible. Hold on. He's gonna bring a nation against us from afar. From the end of the earth. I think it's 28:48. I think it's Deuteronomy 28:48. $20.49. Okay. Deuteronomy 28:49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth. We started out in the east, now we're in the west. This is the end of the earth. As swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We didn't come over here speaking English. We had to learn English. English was not a language until the 1300s. Okay? A nation of fierce countenance. They cutting babies out the womb, stomping the babies, kicking the baby head off. They hanging men, women, and children. They don't care if you old, blind, crippled, or crazy. All right? Now look here. This is because of our rebellion against the Most High. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send. Who sent them? Satan didn't send them. But our sentence is coming to an end. Okay, he's finna turn on it. You can already see he's turning on them. That's why they running scared now. Shall sin against thee in hunger. That's why we ain't got nothing. The Most High said we was going. This is most of us in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he has destroyed you. We forgot everything: names, history, who we were, where we come from. But yeah, there it is right there in the Bible. Let me go. Let me see here. But yeah, we got the highest rate of hate crime. That's what I want to show you. 2023, out of 5,900 race-based, these are the ones that were reported. All hate crimes don't get reported, or they don't report them all. Anti-black or African-American incident accounted for more than half. But we ain't got no hate crime bill. Okay? Want to show y'all that. See, can y'all see that? Okay, yeah, y'all can see that. All right, let's keep moving. What demographic is most violent? This says black folks are overrepresented in murders and gun assaults. I showed you that in the previous. We know who's doing most of the murders. They just don't report it. They hide the picture. Chad them go shoot up the school for whatever reason. They humanize them. He had it rough. Mental illness. If all these white folks got mental illness, then how would Charlie Kirk justify white people ruling and running everything if they got all this mental illness? Y'all ever notice how all these Caucasians got all this mental illness, but yet they running everything? How do you justify that? Don't it seem like they got the IQ? Okay? Gun assaults and disparity in arrest is smaller for the most common form of assault, not involved in any weapon or serious injury. Blacks are arrested for non-aggravated assault at 2.7 times the white rate. I told y'all they got them prisons on the stock market. Okay? And they prefer us to be in now. If they really was impartial in their judgment, you got an opioid epidemic right now. Okay? But yeah. Then you got all white juries. That helps. What that does is that helps with the incarceration machine, the mass incarceration. All white juries. Remember, I just read to you Deuteronomy 28:49. You're gonna be in the land of your enemies. Okay? All white juries. Let me read some of this. In the United States, and all white juries have historically been a tool for perpetuating systemic racism. They got the decks. So if black folks is doing all this crime, if black folk were doing all this crime, we'd be beating the doors down to get into prison. You wouldn't have to plant no evidence. You wouldn't have to trump up no charges. You wouldn't have to lie and propagandize. You wouldn't need no all-white jury. Why? Because we can't wait to get in prison. We doing it on our own. See, when you're lying, you got to do all this stuff. You got to get an all-white jury. You got to put a whole system in place. Because the opposite is true. That's that perverse psychology. Y'all scan this thing up here. You can find the channels. Y'all see that QR code up there in the right-hand corner above the devil horn? Y'all scan that and you should be able to find the channel. So if me and Mike get hit with a strike, you can find us. Just hit that QR code right there and hit that thumbs up button. And if you feel like sharing. All right? That's what that QR code up there for. If they shut this channel down, got some more. Okay? All right, moving on. Now, I don't really know the history in all black jury. I would assume it was when we had our own town and had our own court. But they said all black jurors were a rarity in the United States, and the term is typically used to highlight the systemic racial discrimination created by all white jurors. Black American was legally and systematically excluded from jury service. Yeah, because that 14th Amendment, we're going to get you in that free labor, that slave labor in them prisons. They never stop. Okay? Legally and systematically excluded from juries, particularly in the South, to uphold whites. Don't. Yeah, it's going on in the North too. All right. See that? Following the Civil War, legal measures were put in place to ensure all white juries. Here you go. And then it gives what happened. Black codes. See, that feeding right on into prison. Civil Rights Act of 1875. Congress passed the act which outlawed race-based discrimination. But they, you know they ignored that. You still got all white juries to this day. Okay? Y'all can do your own due diligence right there. Right there. All right. Which demographic get longer prison sentences? Black males and Hispanic females receive longer sentences on average. I don't know why the Hispanic females, but that's what it's saying. With data showing black males receiving sentences 13.4% longer, and Hispanic female receive sentences 27.8% longer than white males and white females. Okay. Usually the black male is gonna get in something. I'm just gonna keep, but it don't be all like they saying. All right. We ain't out here as a whole, as in a great number, doing serial killers. We're not out here doing that. Now, usually if we got a problem with each other, we're not gonna wait till Memorial Day weekend, that propaganda they be talking about Chicago. If I got it, like when back in the day, if I had a problem with somebody, I'm not waiting till the 4th of July to go handle no business. Not black folk, we normally don't do that unless it just so happen to be a holiday. What that look like is some white supremacist devils done got a weekend off and they going into Chicago shooting random people. I can't prove it and I'm speculating. But I know street Negroes don't care about no holidays. I got a problem with you today, I'm looking for you today. Well, that's how Negroes think. We're not waiting to Christmas to get you. Unless we real calculating. And that's the only time we can get you, and we get off free. Which would be few. But the average Negro, we got a problem with you today, we getting you today. Okay? But anyway, 74% of the murders were from the U.S. or 85% white male. Why don't they bring this out? Serial killers, 85%. And 8% were female. And the sex was undetermined in case which of the offender was still at large. In addition, 80% of African-American serial killers, hold on. In addition, 82% of American, not African, American serial killers were white. So here goes some murders right here that these evangelicals ain't talking about. Serial killers. That means they can't do one and done. Okay? White males. 15% were black and 2.5% is Hispanic. All right? That's the same thing? Okay. All right, now, this is how they control white supremacy. They got 9 areas of activity. All right? The term 9 areas of activity refers to the framework developed by Neely Fuller Jr. Some of y'all may not know who he is, but there he is. He was breaking down the white supremacy. All right. To analyze how societies operate to understand the dynamics of racism. This is why black folks cannot be racist. Economics, we don't control the economy. Education, we do not control the education system. They sit there, got a school to prison pipeline, miseducate us, and then tell black folk we got a low IQ and they running the education system. Y'all see that? All right. Entertainment. You know they control the entertainment. They talking about why them rappers rap like this? Because you got billionaires telling them to pump out degeneracy. Okay, share my screen. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay, man. My fault. There you go. Hold on. Let me go back. I've been going on. Let me show. Now here's this. Serial killers by race. Let me see here. But yeah, I'm trying to walk it back since I wasn't sharing my screen. I happened to look down on my phone, Yahoo. Now, I read from this. Which demographic get longer prison sentences? I read that. See the Google search? See that? I'm gonna walk it back. That's that all black jury. Now, if you watching the play, you can pause and look. There go the black codes, the Civil Rights Act, the evasion of anti-discrimination law. Okay. The stuff is out here. This when they go to talk about all this crime, yeah, that's why he was debating young people that they got to focus on schoolwork. They trying to figure out how they gonna make it in life. He ain't gonna debate. And you know something, he doing all that and he didn't even go to college. He dropped out of college. All right. Now here's another one. All white juries. I'm just doing a recap since I wasn't sharing my screen. You see that Google search? You could always go back and pause. That's what I used to do. I sit back, I'll go back, rewind a video, and pause and write them notes down and check into it. Oh, yeah, I be checking up on video. I don't just take everybody. You shouldn't be worried about no truth. If what you're saying is true, you shouldn't worry about nobody checking behind you because they're not going to find anything. Okay? You hear the same thing. Victim of race-based hate crime, but we ain't got no hate crime bill. All right? Exoneration. That's what I was talking about, the exoneration. Now let me move forward. All right, now. Economics, education, that's what I was talking about. They run the education center, then talking about we some dumb Negroes, we got low IQ, and then you got a school to prison pipeline and the prisons on the stock market, and they heavily invested on us going to prison. Entertainment, labor. You got to go to them for a job. They control what position you get. Law, politics, religion. Get rid of, burn that white Jesus up. They got 43 different denominations in Christianity, and every last one of them, the best of my knowledge, is preaching white supremacy. If you teaching white Jesus, you teaching white supremacy. So white supremacy controls this: sex and war, counter war. You say, how they control sex? Look at Shannon Sharp. Look at Shannon Sharp. Look at Bill Cosby. What, 40-year-old crime, no DNA evidence, no witnesses, just some women, some of these women that got caught lying and drug addicts, and he still had to shell out millions of dollars. That's why it pays to live right. So they controlling the sex. Okay, now, but I'm just giving you an example, okay? But that go to rundown. I'm just going to move on. You can go back and check that out. Let me get into these Bible verses. All right. Psalms 140, verse 3. Psalms 140, verse 3. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Deliver me, O Yahuwah, from the evil man. Deliver us from the evil man. These perverse, psychotic individuals that's running the country. All right. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischief in their heart. You think about it. Before you could pass a law to entrap black folks, you got to imagine this thing in your head, formulate a plan, and then execute. That's a three-step process. Which imagine mischief in their heart. And that's just one example. continually they are gathered together for war. See, psychological warfare, psychological damage. The guy from LSU, he couldn't take it no more. The psychological warfare, he killed himself. You understand? They got in his head. He was unequipped or unrefusing to fight it. Okay? Get back to the Bible. I'm just showing you the Bible. Continually they are gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongue. They lying. Putting out half truth. A half truth equal a whole lie. Like a serpent. Adders, poison is under their tongue. Selah, they spitting out lies. Spitting cobras. Adders, there's another snake. Poison. If you don't believe lies is poisonous, ask this brother right here. Well, you can't ask him because he's no longer here. Look at this brother's life. One moment he headed to the NFL, the poison out from under these snake tongue got in his soul and poisoned him and killed him and contributed to his death. All right, let me go to the next Bible verse. Let me see here. Revelation 12:9. I don't have many verses. Finna wrap it up. Okay. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. The whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angel was cast out with him. Lies. Lies on top of lies. All right? Let me see here. Revelation 20:2. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Then you can start breaking out your farm equipment. You can put down your war hammer. You can break out the farm equipment now. All right, and cast him into when this happened. And cast him in the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose for a little season. Okay? Second Thessalonians 2:11. All right. Let me start 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. People getting mad at Colin Kaepernick because he paid his money for an independent autopsy for Trey Reed, and they found he was murdered. But I thought these folks was about the truth. Why you mad at how another man spent his money? That's why it's hard for me to tolerate these heathens, I'm telling y'all. All right, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love for the truth, because you do not love the truth, that they might be saved. The Most High. And for this reason, Yah shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. These folks will cover for the lie. They will die covering for lies. Okay, now, Jeremiah 16:19 just popped up in my brain. Jeremiah 16:19. Okay. All right. Now, boy, they're going to get double. And first I will repay their sins. I will repay their iniquity, and they're seeing double. They all getting a double portion of punishment because they have defiled my land. They done defiled his land, have filled his inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable thing. O Yah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles got an affliction coming. See, they got a recompense coming. Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. They got to know who the real biblical Israelites are in order for the Gentiles to come to you. They got to know who. So some truth got to be told. The truth got to be spoke. The truth got to be lived. All right? Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Okay? Now, let's go to John 8:44. Let's get this spiritual DNA again. I know some of y'all, y'all ought to know it by heart by now. Let's get this spiritual DNA of who Satan's children are. Guess I started at 42 or 43. All right. 41. Ye do the deeds of your father. You doing your father's will. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one father, even Yah. Yahusha said unto them, if Yah were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth. Remember the word proceeds forth. Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth from the mouth of Yah. But anyway, and came from Yah. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Truth is hate speech. It's like a foreign language to a lover of liars, a lover of lies, even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. How did the colonizer get everything? They went all over the earth murdering. How do they maintain it? With deception, the opposite of the truth, lies. And he abode not in the. This is what Satan does, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh of lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Now let's go to Genesis 3. See, the Messiah is pointing out that Satan got a seed out here. You can take it spiritual and you can take it natural. It's both. Okay? Ye are of your father the devil. John 8:44. Satan got children out here. It's spiritual and natural. All right. Let's go to Genesis. Let's see. Is it 3? I think it's 3. All right. He's going to put enmity. All right. And Yahweh, this is after the fall of man. They ate from the tree the Most High told them not to eat of. And the Most High said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between Satan's seed and her seed. This is a bloodline, not just spiritually, but it's physical and spiritual. Okay? It will bruise our head, and thou shalt bruise. We supposed to be out here busting Satan's head. We supposed to be out here. We see the devil. We supposed to be busting his head. Okay? Let me see. Just skip anything. Let me see how long I've been going. Yeah, it's time to wrap this up. Shalom, family. Let me see here. Serpent tongue. Glad y'all could join. Y'all hit that QR code up there, and you can find some. I got some order Melchizedek on there. I'm gonna have to update it. But yeah, some Tupelo. I might have Memphis on there. I think I had Memphis on that. Matter of fact, let me just check. Just do that. Ain't no need of thinking. Let me just check. I'm gonna share my screen again. Hold on. Let me share my screen. We're gonna see what's on here together. All right. Okay. This is Rumble. I put Rumble up there first. But yeah. Let me see here. Let me see what Mike them got on there. It ain't working? Hold on. I'm about to see something. That link's supposed to be working. I'm about to check this out. Oh, they done changed some stuff around. Let me get that straightened out. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, they done changed some stuff around on me. Hold on. Links. They done changed some stuff around. I'm going to get them together. Hold on. Yeah, but I got to go back over there and see what's going on. But I'll get back with y'all. I apologize for that. I got to go get some stuff checked and moved around. And then I will get back with y'all and update y'all. Shalom, family. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to try to probably make these videos a little shorter. I know it's hard to sit through them. I'm going to try to make them shorter, but I'll be long with it. It's hard. But anyway, family, I'll talk to you. Let me see what y'all. Somebody just typed something. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining. Wait a minute. Psalm 58:3. Let me put that up there since I saw it. Psalm 58:3. Let me see what it is. Psalm 58:3. I might have to do the video and then upload it. That way it won't be long. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Yeah, let me put that up there. Hold on. The wicked are estranged from the Mike put that. I saw Mike use that video last night. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go away. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And look, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. You know, adder is a snake, which will not listen to the voice of charmers and charming over wisely. But yeah, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They are estranged from the Most High. As soon as they born, they go away speaking lies. Shalom. Let me check the last comment. I saw one pop up. I ain't got that song, Brenda. I done redid everything. I try to make these videos a little shorter because I look at the analytics. People, they don't sit through them. I'm gonna try to shorten them up. Shalom, shalom. Y'all got any ideas? Hit that email. Hold on. I know the email worked. If you got any ideas, hit that email. Let me see here. And I'll see if I'll try it. Okay, banners. Hit that email if y'all got any ideas. All right. Shalom. Yeah, I took that off. A lot of time. All right. I might re-add it. I might re-add it, Brenda. I might. All right. Y'all got any ideas? Hit that email. All right. Shalom.